AXBT today. Blast trades at 50% of launch market cap. Good entry right now. AXBT is publicly bullish on Blast currently, and it actually started a thread showing bullish sentiment and bullish metrics on Blast. AXBT 12 days ago, Stan Crypto asking AXBT, Blast has it all as well. Thoughts? Blast is dead, fam. Second time when we're using the followers of AXBT as exit liquidity. Today we're figuring out whether Blast is really dead or whether it's the new paradigm, the new shift, the new evolution, and whether it's actually going to billions. Blast just had a mobile application release, but the market did not react in a bullish way. Today we're figuring out, is Blast a failed experiment? Should you be selling all of your assets that are present on Blast and just leaving the chain for good? Or is this a new paradigm shift? Is this actually the future of crypto? And is it going to attract crazy liquidity, crazy TVLs? And are all of the assets and projects present on Blast going to pump very, very hard? Without further ado, let's start. Thank you very much for the amount of likes that you're pressing on these videos. It really helps me to continue to work on this content. The attacks from the comments, they still continue. 70 comments the first second I'm publishing each and every video. At this time, I'm definitely sure this is definitely a paid attempt by certain people that are present on this marketplace. Please support the channel just with your like button. Thank you very much. And we continue to the content. So, Blast mobile application just released yesterday. We will have this video in a very, very clear structure. First, we'll go through the announcement. We will go through the main changes and the main things that are important. Then we'll go through the bearish takes. We'll go through a bunch of bearish takes that are present in the marketplace, as there are a lot of them. I will be sharing my opinion. Then we'll go about bullish takes and why this thing actually is bullish. And we will finalize with the Andy on Blast situation and what is happening with this meme coin moving further as well. We are combining arcade research and Blast Foundation operations into a single streamlined structure run by Pacman Blur. Blast is made in the US and will support the crypto market in the United States of America. Quite interesting statement, definitely bullish one, as we definitely have a sentiment for the US based tokens to run, and Trump, essentially his project is buying US based coins. With this change, we're introducing Blast Mobile and over 50% APY on USD. Absolutely crazy. And our thing is to figure out, is this actually real? Because what they're claiming is that people will be able to put $1 million into Blast ecosystem and they will be able to take $1.5 million by the end of the year. Is there a caveat? Is there something around this? Is it actually bullish for the ecosystem? Why you should care? We are figuring this everything exactly right now. Blast Mobile offers the highest yield in the market. Deposit USDC on Ethereum, USDT on Ethereum, or USDB, which is the stablecoin on Blast to earn over 50% APY. This high APY is only for Blast holders. Non-holders can earn as well at a lower rate. This is the first thing that we're essentially getting right away, that this APY is actually being earned if you hold Blast, which is the token of the ecosystem as well, right? This APY is not earned if you are not the holder of Blast, and instead you're just earning a default API that was present on chain before, which is quite high by itself. Right now it's around 12% for stablecoins and around 3% for Ethereum, which is essentially established by a MakerDAO. Yield in Blast Mobile comes from Blast's native yield, currently 11.5%, powered by Maker Yield and Blast incentives. Yield is paid in Blast, so APY will fluctuate based on market prices. If you would go on Blast website, you can see right away that earned 71% APY on your USD. At the launch, it was 170, 150. Even this morning, I've seen this at 170, 150. Then it dropped to around 54. Right now, it's 71. We would be seeing these type of fluctuations because I won't even say that they depend heavily on the Blast price in the first place. They depend on the TVL that is breached and how many people, and obviously the Blast price as well, because the higher the Blast price essentially going to go up, the lower this APY would be. I would say that our base case scenario would be somewhere around the API that was present during the times of Luna, which was 20% for the stable coins out there. I would say with all the people kind of realizing the profits on Blast and things like that, 20% would be the base case in the more bullish setup on the marketplace out there. So right now it's definitely the time of great yield on the chain, right? And we have to also understand that it went down from 170 to 50 to 71 currently, which means that people are staking, people are testing, and I actually have some bullish metrics to share about this one, but I will do this a little bit later. later. So this one is quite huge, although I do believe it's neglected heavily by the market currently. Anyone with a phone and internet connection can now access USD on Blast Mobile. No prior crypto funds or experience needed. Create a new wallet in 4 clicks. On-ramp via credit card or crypto and transact without needing a separate token for gas. This one is pretty crazy because people, even when claiming airdrop, they already shared, and I will share some comments, that you don't need Ethereum to transact in Blast Mobile Wallet at this stage, which is exactly the experience that is needed on chain for default users out there. It was the main topic of how to actually get the adoption, because in Web 2, when you're watching videos on YouTube, when you're doing some comments on X, you don't have to pay for each and every comment. You don't have to put like $30 on some type of wallet, so you can actually do stuff in this ecosystem. And this actually the proper way to onboard a really bunch of people. And I do love mobile focus as well. This is actually the reason why I was bullish on Luxa in the first place. And Luxa kind of is trying to go the same route with mobile stuff out there. Very, very interesting. I just think that Blast might be a little bit more appealing to degens, and APY is definitely a great thing to acquire users and acquire market share. But we'll talk about this. We will talk about everything. I have everything prepared. I have everyone's stake. We just have to go one by one because it will be a lot of information, and I just want you to understand the whole thing that is happening, because conviction is key. Blast Mobile is iOS for crypto. It lets users use the funds in apps without needing to leave the wallet or create separate wallets for each app. Traditional payment methods have great user experience, but crypto doesn't. Blast Mobile changes that. Very interesting one. Although people that are transacting in crypto and they really had a need to do that, they just figure out their user experience that was present, right? But this thing definitely improves the whole thing. And as mentioned by me several times on this channel, even in the bear market, I was saying that the best products of the upcoming decade in crypto would be the one that would essentially be focusing on user experience. And right now, I have this thesis a little bit more formulated. Why? Because if you would check out cases like X Infinity, like BNB, like Solana from this cycle, ecosystem and tokens that are actually able to attract a bunch of outside liquidity into the crypto market, they are getting appreciated heavily. And the first blockage to this attraction of liquidity is essentially user experience that is present currently at this stage. I don't want to have to send some funds to some wallet to be able to use the products in the ecosystem. I want to be able to use them right away. And this is something that Blast essentially is doing at this stage. And something that looks essentially like the Blast vision is quite similar from this part to Luxa vision as well. Blast Mobile gives developers the ability to bypass App Store restrictions, onboard users with deep linking, send push notifications, and enable single layerness transaction. No confirmation pop-ups needed. That's huge as well. That's very, very nice. It's like very, very similar experience probably to Cash App and things like that. Send push notifications. Obviously, a lot of us, we just disable push notifications right away, but this is huge, guys. I'm from the industry. Like the amount of instant marketing you're actually able to achieve with something like this in the first place, and they are not present anywhere else. Like you can send your customers an email, yeah, but it's not that great. Like when you actually have your customers just one notification away on your phone, that's absolutely good, crazy. And I won't say that a lot of products in crypto, they were actually able to properly leverage this feature in the first place, right? It's not present between the crypto products out there. This is a new application model, so we are taking a whitelist approach for safety. First, we'll release apps created by Pacman and the Arcade research team. This one is interesting because there is a lot of FUD and bad sentiment happening about the fact that app pretty much does not have nothing at this stage. We'll also talk about this, we'll cover this, but they're essentially saying that more apps are coming into the future. If you remember, I was sharing a tweet a couple of weeks ago that Blast mobile application launch is going to be by the news. No one is buying it in advance. Not a lot of people essentially were buying Endion Blast and Blast in advance. Just a smaller chunk of people out there that were able to understand that the bottom was in, right? But it's going to be this stable by the news, by process over the upcoming months. This is essentially something that I'm seeing, and focus on the change of sentiment as well. Like it's just so great to always counter trade the sentiment on crypto Twitter. It's absolutely insane. In the summer, everyone was bullish, everyone was screaming. The best thing to do was just short the Blast and whole ecosystem at the launch of the whole thing. Right now, everyone was bearish. And with this update, everyone, like a lot of people are still bearish in the marketplace. This is the general sentiment. We'll go through it 100% out there, but I will explain to you everything. I will explain why the app is fine at this stage. Why people that are saying that these are just 4 buttons, they don't know shit. about development. They don't know shit about this industry. They don't know what type of financialized products these people actually working with. They just yapping for likes, right? Then we'll progressively roll out more whitelisted apps until finally removing the whitelist. More apps are coming soon. Yeah, this one is it's pretty interesting that they would essentially be adding more apps by people that are building apps on the platform at this stage, and they have certain apps being whitelisted at this stage. If you already have the existing Blast app, it will auto update into Blast Mobile the next time you open it. Otherwise, install Blast Mobile and hold Blast to earn over 50% APY on your USD. This one is also very interesting, and I honestly like this. As a part of this launch, we're switching to liquid incentives moving forward. Existing Blast users can claim their points and gold for Blast now via the airdrop page on the desktop website. Read the blog post. Yeah, so the overall explanation of the thing that essentially happened is that previously we had to wait for the Blast airdrop once a year or once in 6 months, and for all this time we had to farm, and I didn't like this much in the first place, right? And right now you're pretty much receiving rewards all the time, right? You are receiving rewards in a way of Blast tokens. So you're staking stuff on the ecosystem, you're receiving Blast, you're being active in the ecosystem, you're playing Fantasy League and all these other things, you're receiving rewards in Blast right away. They're being essentially sent on your wallets each and every 6 hours. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward and it's pretty nice from my point of view in terms of how this thing set up at this stage. Question that probably most people would essentially have is that where this yield is coming from, and this is something that I would like to discuss as well. Where does the yield in Blast Mobile come from? Blast Mobile has a simple earn app that lets you deposit USD for high yield. You can deposit USDC on Ethereum, USDT on Ethereum, or USDB on Blast. Under the hood, all funds are converted to USDB, which is a stablecoin on Blast, which is backed by MakerDAO DAI, which is essentially an algorithmic, very famous and stable stablecoin at this stage. The yield comes from MakerDAO's baseline yield rate, currently 11.5%, and liquid Blast incentives. All yield is paid in Blast to APY, so APY rates will fluctuate based on market prices. So they don't specifically explain where the Blast part of the yield is essentially coming from. Default answer most likely is that they are just printing, they will just be printing Blast coins out there, right? And they will be showing them as yield. Although I would say that, like, the reason I'm not seeing this as a direct bad Ponzi in the first place is because a good Ponzi is a Ponzi that is based on real revenue in the first place. I always said that when I was doing my overviews regarding the play to earn and gaming projects. Best Ponzi, which is a sustainable Ponzi, is a Ponzi that is based on real revenue. And here we definitely have real revenue because understand what they're doing. They're offering these APYs, these large APYs, but in order to get them first, you have to buy the native token of the chain, right? Which will naturally create hype and just push so many more people into the chain in the first place. And secondly, you pretty much breached a bunch of your stable coins on this chain to be able to make this yield, right? And the more TVL Blast has, the more money, the more revenue they're essentially making themselves, because I think that small portion of this overall yield from the stable coins is coming to Blast as revenue. Because yeah, they can say it's like 11.5, but in reality it's like 11.7, right? And they're taking 0.2 on all of the $700 million that they have as a TVL locked on the chain at this stage. These are crazy amount of revenue, only monthly basis that are essentially present at this stage, right? And all of this is essentially being used to pay out the incentives and although do some things with the Blast coin out there, because I do believe that some certain updates on the clarification of this part they should be coming, and I do believe that part of this revenue is essentially going to be used or is being used to buy back and burn certain percentage of the Blast coins out there. But I'm seeing this as sustainable in the first place. Why? Because it has a real revenue source initially right away. It also like fluctuates. It's not like it's going to be 150% of yield all the time. It's based on the Blast price, which means the more people stake, the less the yield is going to be. So it's like from this point of view, it's sustainable. I just like it better because it's based on the real revenue source. It's not based on some fake fugazi as most of the DeFi projects in the last cycle that they just print in new coins and they're giving you these new coins, and when the music stops, the whole thing just drops. Like this thing has the option to sustain itself because of the way it is set up. Obviously, we do have some jokes on the market. Your new roommate is waiting. This is Duke One, the founder of Luna, who's in jail at this stage. And yeah, people are speculating heavily that this is like the next Ponzi and things like that. bottom of the market, bear market thoughts, 100%. Like, we just need the flywheel to start. We just need for the whole thing to ignite. And I do believe once the market realizes in the upcoming several days, and we will talk about the use cases, we will talk about the application, we'll also talk about what type of users that they're targeting with this type of movements, and why crypto Twitter is bearish and the sentiment is bad. Tip, because they're not targeting crypto Twitter at this stage. It's a very, very interesting thought. I don't care where the yield is coming from. 50% sounds great to me. Nice post. The only issue that I've seen with this post is that Pacman himself is essentially reposting this post out there. It's quite funny when the founder of the chain is reposting, I don't care where the yield is coming from. Yeah. Again, guys, the question where the yield is coming from is the question of people in the bear market. Like, we're definitely in this type of setup at this stage. Everything in the world in the Ponzi is a Ponzi. And I'm just saying that this is a more sustainable Ponzi in comparison to others. And I'm just saying that we need this flywheel to just start to ignite. And it's going to be very, very good. But this is just my small review at this stage in terms of the points that we discussed. Let's move on. Yield in Blast Mobile comes from Blast native yield. So it's important to think that yield is paid not with stable coins, yield is paid with Blast, which is a native coin on chain, which means that in order to realize the profits, people would have to sell the native coin on chain, which is Blast coin. Digging into the Blast mobile app now, you can claim your S2 airdrop from desktop side. But yeah, by the way, if you were holding certain assets on Blast and you had some gold or some points, you should be able to claim your Blast airdrop at this stage. Yield on Blast mobile is paid in Blast. Looks like base yield is from Maker's DAO, is being used to buy back Blast to distribute plus liquid incentives. So it's being used to buy back Blast to distribute. This one I was not able to dive. This one I was not able to dig deep on, right? But it's a very interesting thing that is being shared here. For Blast Mobile, no importing or connecting your old wallet. New wallets are generated for you when you sign in. Currently, Blast Mobile, send, receive, feedback, Blast Earn. Blast's Earn app is where you can deposit USD for yield. You can also deposit Blast to increase your Earn multiplier. Was able to max any multiplier with a small Blast deposit. Deposited 50k. Playing around with it. No third-party apps available yet. The reason she was able to max these multipliers because the sum of stable coins that she's trying to put on yield is very, very small. And following some posts that we will check, at this stage to get the max multiplier, you would have to have 80% of your stable coins in Blast. So let's say you want to get a 70% yield on $1 million. You would have to have 80% of that, which is $800,000 in Blast coin, in the native coin of the chain, in order to be able to receive this type of yield. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. And obviously, if the price of coin is going up, the yield that you are making is decreasing. If the price of the coin is going down, the yield that you are making is increasing, right? So it's like kind of works like a liquidity pool from this point of view. This is total value secured breakdown for Blast. This one actually wanted to focus heavily on because I think that total value locked and total is essentially like total value secured is similar to total value locked. It's a very, very interesting metric because the dynamic of total value locked is, I would say, is a main leading indicator at this stage, right? It's the main invalidation and validation case for the chain currently. If we're seeing short term that stablecoin inflows are increasing, the TVL is increasing, which means that people are putting the money on the chain and they are starting to yield on chain, this is definitely a positive sign. If from here they will start to decrease, this would essentially be something to worry about. Total value secured is at $850 million at this stage, right? And what's interesting is actually that natively minted value, we can see that NDE is the second in comparison to everything that is present on chain, which is absolutely crazy because when I first thought about this thing, when I first seen it, I thought like, why the F the founder and the chain is not supporting it? They can make it so big, like they have this narrative at their hands. It's narrative of bread, it's narrative of Pepe. Other chains like are trying to do it. We do see some things happening on BC. It's actually crazy. They should have something, like it's almost like they should have something planned for this one, right? Maybe some things that the team is not telling me about, but it is just such an obvious play at this stage, and we will have a discussion on this one because I do believe that the part of the market that Ethereum ecosystem is neglecting at this stage are degens that want to trade, that want to be active on chain currently, right? Blast definitely put a focus on them in the first part of the 2024, before essentially the first airdrop, right? At this stage, the whole interest can be easily reignited, like very, very easily. We'll talk about this. We'll talk, because like there's also a pump fund version, like pump fund only available on Solana and on Blast, which is crazy. Like imagine Blast was constantly hunting for product market fit, yet it was there already. Like pump fund is by far the largest, the biggest application that essentially received the largest product market fit this cycle thus far, right? This is the reason why Solana is pumping as well. And like they had it almost since day one of the launch of the chain, and they just missed it, right? For certain reasons. It's absolutely crazy. Like Pac-Man, if you're watching this video, just put the focus on this one. Like it's a very, very easy type of thing to be able to do there currently. And then you will have a very, very bullish sentiment on crypto Twitter around all the things that happen around this chain. But let's move on. We can also see externally breached value, that most of it is Ethereum at this stage. Some things around token unlocks investing we have to focus on as well. Blast itself actually has $36,000 of a sell pressure, of potential sell pressure on daily basis, which are essentially unlocks that are happening on a daily basis, right? For this thing. And somewhere in the process, they would also have larger unlocks, but yeah, thus far I'm just scrolling through February, I'm just seeing these daily unlocks, which at this stage is around $1 million worth of sell pressure on a monthly basis. It's not that large for coins, especially like in the bullish market setup, but obviously in the bearish type of setup, we can kind of feel that. It's also a big question if this money are just being dumped right away, or if people essentially just taking them and holding them. And now we're moving into the whole bearish sentiment around Blast. We are moving into the whole bearish case that is happening around the ecosystem and trying to figure out, do these people actually have sense in things that they're saying? Or maybe they don't make any sense in the first place. This guy is quite famous for fighting Blast all the way. Essentially since I think the first airdrop, right? Blast app is not bad UI. It is pure grift in his opinion. Pac-Man Blur claiming for months and months that they are heads down building and that they are about to change the mobile experience in crypto to launch the 2 screens 4 buttons joke. I have been super critical about him. I was super disappointed about Blur Season 3 and Blast allocation towards it. But also I have been dealing with his team and him for more than 1 year, and I can tell they are not builders. They don't care about the users. They are here to extract whatever the fuck it takes. They will try to pump Blast in about 6 months once they start to be unlocked to cheat on you guys. Don't fall for this trash. First of all, regarding the mobile application, I do believe that all the people that are commenting on the fact that like it's not enough at this stage and things like that, I don't think that they understand software development in the first place. We are in the highly financialized industry. They could have easily spent at least half of the time that they were building this app, like at least 6 months, at least 3 months out of 6 months, to just test it, to make sure that nothing will break, to make sure that people can actually safely transfer the funds and transfer the funds inside the ecosystem. It's not about front end. I can put Xcode and develop view controllers with the best fucking architecture you had ever seen in a matter of days for the same type of application currently. It's not about the front end at this stage. It's about underlying backend infrastructure, blockchain infrastructure, which is immutable. It takes a lot to make sure that it does not have an option to get hacked as well. It definitely takes time in the first place. I would also argue that, yeah, maybe in 6 months they could have done slightly more, but again, they shared that they will be publishing more applications on the app, and they will be whitelisting and publishing certain apps that are already present on the platform as well, which is a very, very important thing. I do believe that at this stage we just have to wait, but I'm not buying these allegations and accusations that the app is shit just because of the fact that in this industry, when they are talking about 700 million TVL at this stage, they don't need nothing else. They just needed to be secure, needed to not break, needed to not get hacked. This is the main thing out there, because the whole thing is that they're offering this APY on Blast Mobile, right? 12 months of work went into these 4 buttons. Have some respect, Blast. Yeah, the other piece of fun from a person that does not understand and never developed an application in his life. At this point, just quit already. This is embarrassing. The US is buying a basket of digital asset, and OpenAI is having a massive 500 billion AI funding round. Meanwhile, AI agents are everywhere in our business. And you expect people to stake Blast to get more blessed. It's kind of like the main feature of Blast is yield at this stage. And yeah, it's kind of like this feature from the previous cycle where you just take shit and you're getting more of this shit, right? We'll discuss it. I have a very good post on why the things are done this way and the focus of the market on this part as well. Why they are focusing the market acquisitions through this mentor specifically. It's very interesting, and I think it will essentially explain the whole situation to you as well. But it's just important to remember this take for the further overview. Probably swapped out of my Blast rewards from season 2 and withdrew immediately. Nothing left but some dust. Empty chain without direction. Bizarre downfall. Pac-Man should get back to focusing on Blur. Also, a bearish take. Scroll TVL be like, let me see if I can be the fastest chain to go to zero. Blast be like, 1 sec, hold my bottle. Been vocally bullish about Blast up to this point, but recent update just seems retardio. Looks like a giant F view to existing dApps as well as up to now loyal users. So interesting part of this take is that I do think I've seen something that current applications, they're not receiving like a lot of, like they did not have a lot of updates around this situation or something, but I do believe it's a bit too early currently. In upcoming months or two, we'll definitely be seeing what is happening with the current applications. I won't even say months, like a couple weeks. I am fully out. Wishing all continuing users and the team best of luck for the future. India is really in shock today. Hyperliquid. Yeah. So the guy pretty much just went to invest in something that is heavily adopted by the crypto Twitter to buy the bags of the influencers. Well, at least they have the working product with the product market fit, which is very important. How long does Blast last with more than 50% APY? I think I can easily respond to this question myself currently. The more people buy Blast to get the largest multiplier, the higher the price of Blast increases, the smaller essentially the percentage of yield will be present, which means that the shorter the time would be that Blast would essentially last with more than 50% in APY. At this stage, we can see that it's at 70.9, right? It's just a question of whether 50% is like the base case and we cannot move lower, but I do believe we can move lower. When Blast is in the billions, I 100% expect that the APY would be lower than 50%, right? But it still will be nice for the whales with stable coins, and once Blast is in the billions, right, it would be a way different situation for the sentiment out there as well. It really reminds me of Terra Luna, to be honest, like because the run-up was crazy. I remember I was buying like $600 worth of Terra Luna in the summer of 2021. If I just held, I would have like 10k now by the new year, which is like 15x, and it was up like crazy at the time already. This is a terrible user experience. New wallet after new wallet. The best place to short Blast, in my opinion. Can't see how it recovers or why anyone would buy it. The reason I'm sharing this here is because the guy is suggesting to short at this stage. Bottom of the sentiment, people are just repeating the reactions that they got in summer because they got hurt. Now, it should be up only from here. It should be like bullish sentiment and bullish, like any bullish news coming, any real things that are being pushed on chain and on the application should only be increasing in value. And like, because everyone who sold already, like they sold, like they just, nothing is happening with these people at this stage. They will just only be coming back when they will be hearing more and more things about Blast. And also the case of this is a terrible user experience. How else would you want to establish non-ETH transactions with a new product, with a dApp, when you would want to transact without the need to have some money in the wallet for gas, right? That there are no ways to establish this in the old infrastructure. And again, like I do believe that this product is focused on the onboarding of new people into the market. And new people, like they would not have the wallet in the first place. And at the same time, create a new wallet to either claim the airdrop or get the largest yield on the marketplace. Yeah, it's definitely something that you would be doing. I do believe that like the way it's going to develop from here, it's like someone is going to put like $2,000 to $5,000 there today. He would check yield, yeah, everything is fine. He would buy some Blast, maybe get like a small multiplier in the first place, 10-20%, right? He will check that yeah, everything works, everything is yielding and things like that, and then he will just increase. So and then he will start to put more money. He will start to tell about this to his friends as well. So it's like this flywheel. It's only starting currently. It's probably a very great time to actually be long in Blast currently, because we dropped I think 20% since the announcement, right? Because people decided to sell the news. I think right now is going to be buy the news. Liquid diarrhea to be friendly. 150% APY for something down only like that is pretty shit. Plus the mobile app anything but ready for prime time. Meh, blast is done. Yeah, again, so I do believe that this guy, he just did not figure out everything that is happening, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to essentially explain these things to you. It's up to you to take my opinion. I'm just sharing the things that I'm seeing, sharing the things from me, essentially knowing this industry in the first place. By the way, if you would want to hear this in-depth overview of the fundamentals on the marketplace, different coins and opportunities, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I think people will massively sell their blessed airdrop. This is something that's happened with each and every airdrop out there, but I do believe that this time they will be punished. And personally, I did not claim even at this stage. Personally, I do think I would hold. Actually, what I think I should do, I think I should sell and just long it. Yeah, this is probably something I would essentially be doing. Liquid incentives, so instead of accumulating gold and JIT blast after 6 to 12 months, they're accelerating the speed people can sell the blast. It's like people cannot sell the blast until they buy it. Do you understand it? Like people are only getting a large multipliers if they are buying blast in the first place, right? And then the multipliers, the APY is essentially dependent on the price of blast out there. Like this thing actually works in a way to increase the value of blast. It's other way. Like they don't understand these things. Like I do believe a lot of like commenters on software part, on the application, on this part as well, they can they need to go through some exams. They actually have to pay in order to be able to share their opinion on X. It just does not make sense. They don't understand what the fuck they're talking about. Dapps will probably get lots of attention farms from this new move, and I will still use my favorite dApps to accumulate blast and JIT. So despite the fact that he's hating on the chain, he's still essentially using it. You guys couldn't find a better utility other than more inflation. Yeah, I do believe it's actually pretty in line with the Bleep buyback blast token with yield. Well, not at all. The proposal says to use the yield to buy back blast. This will generate a buy pressure. You guys added the multiplier, which will distribute 6x the amount of blast bought back. When the price of blast is going higher, the APY is lower. Equals more inflation, equals price down. The total opposite of the proposal that says to focus on the price. Nah, he's not right. We are definitely topping soon Almao, and he's essentially sharing that APY for blast is 94%, which is currently at 70%. Again, the more price of this thing goes higher, the lower is the APY. And I think after it actually can be happening after like short days out there, because people will try out, people will see rewards, people will essentially be putting more and more and more, buying more blast to increase the multipliers as well. I actually do think I will just sell my airdrop currently and just long it. We used to think Pacman was the master of Ponzi's, but this one is absolutely terrible. He's ironically just turned blast into a shitty version of Luna, which is the worst app I've ever witnessed in my life. Well, it's way different from Luna. The APY is larger. So from this point of view, it's like from one point of view, it's a better version of Luna because the APY is larger, but at the same time, you're not getting yield in stablecoins. You're getting your yield in a blessed coin. I do believe there was a form of yield on Luna, which was paid in Luna tokens as well, right? But nah, it's like it worked. It worked last cycle, and following all the things that I essentially shared with you already, I think you understand that like it's better. Like it actually based on real revenue, and I actually do think that the mechanism out there is designed in a way to make the price of the underlying asset go higher, which is blessed coin. This is me sharing something. Bottom for blessed. Market misunderstands. Update coming today. The way I see it, yeah. And I'm sharing to you currently that I think that this is the bottom and no one understands the effect of the flywheel that will be taking place. This one is very, very interesting. Blast starting to look interesting with actual cash flow, smart pivot dropping points for liquid rewards, legit infra yields changing the game, right? So this was essentially the conversation that someone started about Blast. But AXBT actually posted something about the blast first. So it's not just someone asking, right? It was just posted by AXBT. And I will share why you actually need to be subscribed to this channel and why you actually have to check out each and every video, because we are on this channel. We're using the followers, the subscribers of the largest X account, of the largest AI agent as exit liquidity constantly. This is what you're getting here. Blast ditches point system for liquid incentives. No more vesting periods. Straight to wallet rewards for using Blast Mobile. Real yield meta evolving. Hash AI running 2 million annual from mining ops. Blast offering 50% APY on USD. Both moved to zero tax models this month. Blast at 183 market cap with 22 million 24 volume. Hash AI stabilized at 91 million after dropping 66% from all-time high. Infrastructure-backed protocols getting market attention. Real yield narratives are back, but with actual revenue this time. No more Ponzinomics, just data-driven infrastructure plays. Bullish on protocols with proven fundamentals and sustainable economics. Blast starting to look interesting. With an actual cash flow, smart pivot dropping points for liquid rewards. Legit infra yields changing the game. Yeah, this is actually something that I liked. And maybe you were not that serious listening to me that I said this to you 5 minutes ago, right? But now, when you probably hear the same thing said by XBT, you probably think, yeah, maybe it's interesting. Maybe Stan is actually right. Maybe I should actually start this video with the XBT instead of just me talking. Blast trades at 50% of launch market cap. Good entry now. Let's see, because it's very important. Bottom for Blast. Unfortunately, I showed it 6 hours later, right? Blast trades at 50% of launch market cap. Good entry now. 6 hours later, I'm saying bottom for Blast. And what is very, very interesting, and what I actually wanted to show you, right? 10 days ago, I asked, Blast has it as well. Thoughts essentially about 100% of fees being redistributed back to the developers on chain. XBT, Blast is that fam. 12 days later, this AI is bullish on Blast. We are seeing pure triumph over human intellect over AI out there. This is the second time when we will be using the followers of XBT as exit liquidity. Absolutely insane, because bottom on end on Blast actually happened before this time, right? And I called at the bottom on end on Blast as well. Blast dropped slightly, right? But I don't believe that end on Blast is going back to like $1.4 million market cap at this stage. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I should probably start my video with this one, because otherwise you guys just won't be watching it, right? USDB, this is by far one of the main metrics. I told you about this. This is like the only thing that you should be focused on currently. I'm not sure where this bot is getting this metric from. I would love for this bot just to be able to update us on this information. USDB, which is stablecoin on Blast, saw $20 million plus inflows in the last 24 hours, a 64x surge from its average. 64x surge in the inflows of stablecoins. This is just day one. This is the most important leading metric, because the protocol, the ecosystem is making money based on stablecoins that are coming in. As the native stablecoin of Blast, USDB offers auto-rebasing yields backed by MakerDAO's T-bill protocol. Users can bridge USDC, USDT into Blast to earn over 50% APY, with multipliers up to 6x for holding Blast. A new era for yield-focused DeFi. Trump actually is quite bullish on DeFi as well. Have you seen Trump buying into a bunch of DeFi protocols? Have you seen all your best influencers screaming about DeFi AI as a new narrative? Absolutely insane, right? Some of the bullish things as well, I was showing it in some of the previous videos. Pump.fun is now live on Blast. Pump.fun is only live on Solana and on Blast, nothing else. Obviously, it's an older post. It's essentially from a year ago, from February 29th, right? I do believe it's a huge issue that Blast just neglected this thing, because it's the only product market fit that was able to be achieved this cycle, like meme coins, Palm.fun, right? Maybe they did not do it because most of these things, they're just rocks and most people are just losing money in them, right? But still, this is the best product market fit. And Palm.fun, which is the most successful company in crypto in the line of the new companies in 2024, they had and they were bullish on Blast, kicking off at the start of 2024. I won't say that a lot of things changed. I wouldn't even say that things definitely have improved since that time. Blast update is interesting. Some initial takes. No mentions about Ethereum deposits anywhere. Everything is just focused on USD. Yeah, it's quite interesting, because on Ethereum, and it was a response from Pacman direct, that Ethereum is just 3% yield at this stage. It's almost like they're not focusing on it much at this stage. Maybe it's an issue, maybe not. We'll see. They're still like an Ethereum layer 2 using OP stack out there. This is cool. Hopefully the app feels dissociated from crypto tokens approvals and is just a USD Robinhood-like experience with apps. A very, very important takes, 100%, right? And you can see right away that like it kind of pushes you into the area where you understand that the focus of these people, they definitely have a very great focus on whales, like 100%. Like whales, they are sitting there doing the yield, like they're not talking. You would never see like a message from them on X, right? And they have a focus on acquiring new audience out there, which is on mobile. everyone is trading your meme coins on mobile in Telegram bots at this stage, right? New people are coming in crypto. They don't want to know even about Ethereum, like different stable coins. They just want to see the USD with the app, be able to transact and be able to actually receive yield and buy blessed coin to multiply the yield. It's like a fun game for them, right? And it's just a very, like, it's, I would say it's one of the main parts, but like imagine the things that could be built and that are present already. Absolutely crazy. Wonder what happens to the typical apps we see on chains, lending, markets, automated market makers, etc. if the incentives are just for blessed mobile apps. I think it's actually one of the main takes of why people are saying that blessed neglected the current apps, because yield at this stage is only present in the blessed mobile app, right? So all of these products, all of these apps, they should actually be migrated into the app, right? Confused by the higher yield if you hold blessed. What's the ratio of blessed USD we need to hold? Yeah, I told you already, 80% of blessed to 100% of USD. So if you have $5,000 and you want to have max yield, you need to buy $4,000 worth of blessed and put it to yield as well. Tried app but bugging out. Seems one password doesn't work for passkey. Yeah, there are some issues with the launch. I think one of the providers of something that is being done with wallets is down, and Pacman is actively sharing updates on this one. This is the situation currently, but yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing. It will be solved 100%. End of points. This is probably how most projects should launch going forward. Season 1 is points campaign and then liquid token instead of users feeling endlessly farmed. Usual pills program. Yeah, I do love this as well. Again, I do absolutely love the change from points into liquid incentives. This is something I honestly wanted to see in the first place, but following this message, I understand that this makes sense. First, like when you don't have the chain yet, you let people farm with the points, and then when things are more active, you change it into liquid incentive. Absolutely nice. All liquid is paid in blast, so maybe they're going to use all the native field to buy back blast, like in that old prop from baseline team. Yeah, it's essentially information based on some insights, and this is the second person through all of this overview who's saying that they're actually going to use native field to buy back blast, right? There are things happening on the street, so certain rumors happening around. Long blast. Something I absolutely agree with. Pacman already has his second live setup in a non-extradition country. Yeah, this is just something funny that he's like, people are speculating that he's just repeating the story of Duke 1, and that's why he has everything set up in a non-extradition country. I started using Blast just about 3 to 4 months ago. I've made $30,000 gold since then, onboarded few of my friends, made good money using dApps. No joke. Sometimes the biggest FUD is your biggest alpha. Actually, probably like a future whale if you will be able to hold, right? Appreciate the rundown. I did a step-by-step guide. It looks like an 80% ratio is needed for max multiplier. For example, 1,000 USDB needs to have $800 in blast to receive the 6x multiplier. So you have to understand the sell pressure can only be created if person is staking with a large percentage on there, right? It's either a whale that have like a lot of money and he's receiving yield in blast, although I do believe that base yield should still be paid in the stable coins, but if they want to multiply the yield, they have to buy blast, right? It's not like just the sale pressure is created. In order to create any type of pressure, you need to buy the underlying asset in the first place. What happens when the asset is being bought? The price of the asset is going up. What happens to people when they see the price of the asset is going up? They don't want to sell, right? It's just a constant flywheel. Thanks, Pacman, for the free short. So yeah, we're seeing someone who just sold on the use and he bought back right away, which I think is very, very smart. And now we're coming to the main overview that I think should respond to all of the questions out there. What type of audience they're targeting? Does it make sense in the first place? Is blast dead? And things like that. So this is the post that I essentially like the most, and I would like us to focus on this one. Everyone likes to shit on blast and is disappointed with the roadmap announcement app, but I think there is a simple reason why they decided to go in this direction and why it might actually work. The major disappointment comes from the fact that the blast app is something none of the crypto Twitter users would actually use, and that's the whole point. Instead of catering to the yield farmers and big accounts in the industry saturated with yield opportunities, they decided to tackle the onboarding of the new wave of crypto users and the new millionaires. Most of us on crypto Twitter started with and still keep our whole experience on desktop. But the new generation, even most of the Solana trenchers, a lot of these boys, like a lot of these guys that are outperforming like crazy, they're doing stuff with their mobile devices out there. likely never opened a DeFi application, feeling like it's too complex and a waste of time to move all wallets to a PC. It's undeniable that for the past year, most of the onboarding and tooling development has happened on mobile, mainly with Telegram bots, Trojan, Photon, BullX, 100%. Like, these things are generating crazy fees, and Solana is pumping like crazy. Why? Because a bunch of people were able to get onboarded into the crypto, and the way they were onboarded is from mobile. So it's not like something that Blast is just trying to come up with. First, it's really based on how internet adoption was happening. Again, I know these things because I'm a mobile developer and I run a mobile software development company. Initially, it was mobile software development, and then we essentially expanded, right? I know how this is happening. Like, it was, we had same type of headlines, like why I need to adapt my website to mobile, no one is ever going to use mobile, why YouTube needs a mobile application, no one is going to ever use. Like, the guy who actually developed mobile version of YouTube, he was from Belarus in the first place. Like, the guy who essentially headed the mobile development of YouTube mobile application. No one believed it in office, right? Because I was watching the interview. He's sharing the whole thing. No one believed it, and it was a huge success. What you are watching this video from? Let me know what device you're actually watching this video from. You can type it in the comments that are closed, right? So you could probably find a way, you know? People that actually want something, that they're looking for solutions. People that don't want anything, they're looking for excuses. Your excuse is that the comments are blocked. You still can find a way, right? And that mobile-based tools are here to stay. So why not capture this market and newfound wealth by offering them what on paper is a high-yield DeFi savings account? Again, Pacman is a master of capturing existing market share. This is a great way, an awesome way. High yield on stables is something that was always worked extremely well in attracting non-sophisticated users into using DeFi for the first time. Think of how many non-crypto native people were using Anchor. There are only two other main ecosystems that are working in a mobile-first direction present. WorldCoin, again a project that is heavily misunderstood by CT as a Fed chain. They started off, well, yeah, he's obviously talking about WorldCoin, right? And he is also sharing how the WorldCoin mobile application looks, right? So it's very, very simple, because target audience, like, it's not crypto, Twitter, X like developers, right? It's just default people out there that want things to be simple, that want nice user experience. Simple UI, an app store, incredibly fast and responsive apps made for and catering to mobile users in the wild ecosystem too. This is all fantastic, but there is a clear scaling limitation for the project. They need to physically have people go to orb managers and get their eyeballs scanned to be onboarded. Telegram's tone and tech. Also, Telegram. Everyone was talking about Telegram. Alex Becker and other trades are talking about apps on Telegram. There are two ways Telegram is currently being used to pave the mobile-first UX. Telegram bots acting as a proxy for interacting with Sol Ethereum with very specific purposes. Photon, Trojan, BullX, essentially trading. The tone native way. Telegram's integrated wallet. Clicker apps that have been onboarding a lot of people in the past year. Mini app-centric ecosystem with high shareability to earn higher rewards. The limitations here are also clear. On the one hand, proxy bots have very specific use cases and cannot scale because the private keys need to be held by their creators. On the other hand, Tone native mini apps lack a substantial developer base because no one wants to learn Funk to cater to Telegram native users. I would also say that, like, most of these native Telegram users, they don't have money. They're not interested to invest anywhere, essentially. They're interested to farm. This is all about to change with Tech Build, which is building the first fully Telegram TOS compliant blockchain, allowing Tone wallet users to directly interact with the EVM. When they go live, Telegram users will be able for the first time to swap via Curve, Uniswap, use Aviv, and all directly from within a mini app. On top of this, people can still interact with the same dApps deployed on Tech from the desktop website. Overall, I believe it will be a close race between Blast, Tech Build for winning the mobile user base. One has the financial backing, attractive programs, and excellent projects already deployed on chain. He's talking about Blast. The other has Telegram native integration, along with numerous well-known dApps deploying on Tech soon. So now here's the situation. Plenty of people made money in the Solana trenches and don't know what to do with that money. Most of the onboarding for new users comes through mobile channels. Only 2/3 other ACCs are working in the mobile. Only 2 out of 3. First in the mobile first direction. Blast is natively giving a high yield savings account to funnel users. Yeah, it's like a honeypot, you know, like it's like attraction. Come here, put your money here, put like a small bit in the first place, check out the yield, check out everything is fine, buy some Blast, increase your multipliers. It's like gamified in a way. Put some more, right? And once people will have money in the ecosystem, with some of them, they will probably start to check out different apps. Maybe they will find like ways to gamble, things like that. Absolutely, absolutely nice. What to most appears to be a battle between Blast and all others chain is actually a battle just between Blast, WorldCoin and Tech. While the Blast app might only look like this at present, it is going to look a lot different in just a few months. What is just now just a platform? What is now just a platform for people to put their savings will become a full mobile first DeFi ecosystem. The question you might have, all right, yeah, the future is nice. Do I actually have to wait again? Do I have to wait and just hold and nothing's happened? Well, in the first place, yeah, slow cooks, they are the best cooks. We send on the Blast. We're definitely positioned very, very well for this type of takeover. Secondly, I do believe that the flywheel, it should start to ignite very, very soon, like almost on a daily basis. And I do think we slightly will essentially see the Blast price increasing, slightly increasing, slightly increasing, slightly increasing. I do believe this is something that should be happening. Some comments from this post. What we are seeing isn't a race against every chain. It's a targeted play for mobile dominance. In a space where most users are glued to their phones, Blast's approach might just be the next big thing. Blast is unironically extremely well positioned to win the upcoming mobile adoption wave. Agree. Easy to use, high yields, and big partnerships. Blast has it all. No Ethereum needed. Oh, this is really interesting. This is essentially about the fact that in order to transact a mobile Blast application, you don't need to have Ethereum. You don't need to send Ethereum to your wallet, which is exactly a Web 2 type of experience. Some jokes, Blast from the past, increase USDB yield from 5% to 15%, and then Duke 1 is essentially changing into Pac-Man, right? Swing and the miss on the Blast Mobile as two main concerns. CT just met, Blast ain't for them. Mobile first is where the next bag chasers are coming from. Blast Tech Wild, pick your fighter. Yeah, this is something that is very, very nicely sums up the post that we just went through. And I do believe that Blast can very, very easily become for CT, like very, very easily. All they have to do is just push Andy on Blast to billions. It will start a crazy meme season on chain. Pump.fun is already present on Blast. It's not present on any other chain except Solana. They have everything in place. Like it just like this, and they're making it very, very CT friendly as well. I do believe at some point of time they will essentially be doing that. Chartwise, what do we see for end on Blast and coming to end on Blast at this stage? I told you multiple times that we'll probably be seeing certain rejections when we would be around $4 million in market cap, which is exactly something that we're seeing currently. If we just ignore the sentiment and just focus on the chart, we're seeing a 25% correction at this stage, which is kind of like default, right? We had the same thing when we tapped this $3 million level, 25%. So it's quite important, like where the price would essentially be going from here. I do believe that a lot of people I heard currently from the fact that they think that the same thing might be happening that happened in the summer, when things were looking nice and when it was it were the news, it was the giant sell the news. I do believe it's going to be different currently, despite the fact we're like short term, we're definitely seeing a certain sell the news present, mainly of the fact that sentiment is definitely way different. And as I explained to you in this video, I'm not seeing the things as the market's seeing them. Probably because I was researching really deeply on this one, and I have like years of experience in this industry, so I know I don't understand what they are making. And again, the last long post, the reason I essentially shared it is because I do believe it's a very, very great thing in terms of explanation of the things that are happening out there. End on Blast is like your ultimate sentiment, like I would say it's leverage on the sentiment even on Blast, obviously on the price action, but at the sentiment as well. I do believe that it honestly should be continuing from here, but the only risk thing I'm seeing currently is the opportunity cost, because I do think we are going into the alt season at this stage, and it might be the case that this thing won't be pumping the first. I do believe that essentially the Blast ecosystem and whole this flywheel, it will start to ignite. It will essentially become larger and bigger, right? With defined boarding and all this yield and things that are present out there, we will be seeing new applications. I think like it's going to happen exactly in the way that I was sharing, that essentially the launch is going to be by the news event. Obviously, not neglecting the fact that each and every news are just sell the news in the first place, right? And this is something we're seeing. Like we have 25% drop on End and Blast. I do believe we have 20% drop on Blast itself, the coin. But moving further, I'm just like, worst case is that like nothing is happening, it's bearish, and everything is going to zero, right? For Blast. I honestly don't see that. I see that TVL should be growing and increasing on a daily basis from here, and things, they just should be becoming better and better and better and better. Like sentiment wise, we are after a 6 months huge time capitulation at this stage, and people are still bearish. People still don't like things and they think that nothing is happening, and something will be happening moving further. Like we won't be in this situation at this stage where we have to wait 6 months for some updates, right? We'll have new apps, maybe on a bi-weekly basis. We will be receiving new apps, new things happening in the Blast ecosystem. Pacman is responding to people, he's talking to people at this stage. I do think that things are going to change going from here. And the third thing, that the overview for this thing is very, very bullish, as I essentially shared to you as well. And like we are at the bottom. Are we going back to 1.4? No. Maybe like we'll go to 2.5 and pretty much just find our support here, because it's essentially, it was a certain resistance around this level, like 2.4, the recent trade in price action. It's also like around the bottom of this range. So the bottom of this range is around like 3.2 million. So yeah, I would say like somewhere here we should find our support as the lowest and just bounce back and either consolidate in this range or just go straight higher from there. Breaking out, this is something that was happening yesterday, and on the news it went almost to 4 million, and currently we are rejected. And something bullish that I also wanted to share on Andy. My thoughts on Blast app launch. The app itself works pretty nicely. I did open up an account within 5 steps, which is good. But I think most importantly, Blast needs to also focus on financial opportunities, like showing coins on chain to get the masses. User first, then tech. Overall, pretty bullish on Blast and Andy in the future. People will adopt this chain. It's the only layer 2 chain focusing on the input and giving value to the end user. We will see if the customer feedback gets more important now, since it's very hard to get in touch on Discord, Pacman, Blur, Blast. Hope you understand that it's one thing that you have your hands down, but we as users needs to have some form of communication with you. And Pacman actually replied to this post, which is absolutely crazy, because this account is very small. This guy is from Indian Blast community, only 36 followers. All users will have a direct line of feedback with us via the feedback application. It's one way now, but we'll add the ability for us to respond shortly. With the launch of Blast Mobile, we are really focused on only one customer, and that's the end user. This should be summing it up. I actually succeeded with my role here to explain how I'm seeing the whole thing, to explain everything that is happening. I hope like you understand way better what is happening with the platform currently, because when the whole thing initially like happened, I didn't understand the whole thing fully. So I definitely spent several hours this morning researching on the topic. Let's see. As mentioned, the main metric, you can probably just pick up the AI that I was showing in this video that showed information on $20 million in stablecoins inflow, which is a 64x increase to the average before, right? You can probably just ask this AI on a daily basis, what is the inflow, what is inflow, what is inflow? This is your main metric. If you would be seeing that the market is bullish, things are growing, we're in the alt season, but stablecoin metrics are not going higher on Blast, this is your essentially invalidation, and this is your essentially thing to probably cut some exposure, right? If this leading metric is increasing, this is the best thing out there. So yeah, it's a simple thing to view these things, right? So thank you very much. I hope I did not make you too tired through this overview, but we had to go through all these things. Let me know if you have any questions around ecosystem. Again, I'm responding next to each and every of your comments, and you can DM me as well. And I will be seeing you tomorrow. Stay healthy and rich. Bye bye.